Soccer Show. I'm Giancarlo Lino, joined as always here by John Nelson, OSG Sports. John, I guess we can get into something here because there's a story. Atlanta, Toronto. What's the deal with this whole loan agreement? Because a lot of fans of both teams are a little bit confused.
All right. So right now, yesterday at practice, the biggest issue was Atlanta currently has 4 players under the U22 designation, and so it was a situation where, all right, you had to try and find somebody uh, of those U22s, and it ended up being Miguel Ibarra. Oh, sorry, Franco Ibarra, that had to be the one that was loaned out. And so right now, it appears that Toronto FC would be getting Franco Ibarra on loan for the remainder of the season. It's a 6-month loan. Well, technically, I guess 5, and until the end of the calendar year. And so Toronto would be getting help in the midfield from Franco Ibarra. And like I said, it just came down to Atlanta with 4 U22s and Ibarra being loaned out. And yesterday, Carlos Bocanegra, technical director for Atlanta United, had a press opportunity, and it was explained as part of a larger picture because of what he and President and CEO Garth Lagerwey are trying to do through this transfer window. And you can't. The bottom line is that if you want to bring folks in, and it's part of like a larger dynamic. So I guess think of it maybe as Vulcan chess right now. And the way that things are structured in Major League Soccer, you can't bring folks in unless you move folks out because of the limited number of roster spots you have, roster designations, and trying to figure out who could fit where, plus your cap and your salary numbers. So it's a lot of different things in play. And it was just you had 4 U22s, and now Franco Ibarra looks like he's being loaned to Toronto for the remainder of the year.
And it looks like he's going to be helping that lineup up because it was another disaster. I think is putting it nicely. 4-0 win there for the home side. Toronto FC went on the road, and looks like they carried that performance from that loss. And it's just one of those games where is it like a head scratcher at this point? Like from the outside looking in, when you're seeing their DP and captain for the game go off the way they did, like what's the talk around the league about this team?
That it's I mean, it's a mess. And it looks like there are players that are not interested in being there anymore. And you lash out in these times of anger, and you know, you're not going to have enough players. I mean, seriously, how many folks are going to be available on short-term loan agreements from the Young Reds this weekend? I mean, I think that's going to be something that you're going to have to look at because, getting into this weekend, it was interesting as we were going over it this morning on SDH, looking at the player availability report brought to us by the league. The league always has these things that they post, and this was as of Tuesday. And like I said, things may have changed between Tuesday and today as we're talking. But here was the list of folks unavailable for Toronto. And I made the point this morning. It made it sound like it was done by the Maple Leafs communications department because out. Here's out. Bradley, Dio, Gutierrez, Hedges, Rosted, Vasquez. Literally, by the league, it's listed as out, all lower body injuries. No specificity. It's like the Leafs are in the playoffs, and that's who was writing up this player availability report. Lower body injuries, all of them, and they're all out. And then international duty, Sean Johnson, Jonathan Osorio, Richie Larea, Tomas Romero, and Insigne is questionable because of a lower body injury. And then you've got a red for then you've got a red for physical contact with the Bernadeschi. And so literally, who is available? I mean, is this going to be like a mass transfer of short-term agreements from the second team to the first team to make sure that you guys have a bench at least this weekend for Toronto? I mean, it's a mess, man.
Yeah, if I'm a fan of TFC, I would get acclimated and accustomed to some of those names because I think
Luka Gavran.
you're going to see a lot of them.
Luka Gavran, definitely. And having seen TFC 2 already this year on 2 separate occasions with Atlanta United 2, yeah, all of us here at SDH, we know Toronto FC too, man, and that's going to be. I want to see the short-term agreements, and I want to know how many folks are going to be brought up this weekend for the match. It's going to be a mess. It really is.
And just like last week, where I kind of speculated on Insigne, where that whole thing came out about him changing agents, like the Saudi Arabia thing came up. It looks like that's obviously why he changed his agent. You don't just drop your agent that got you a big MLS bag unless you have another agent who has an even bigger Saudi Arabia bag waiting for you. So
Mhm.
I know it says he's injured, air quotes there.
It's
How soon?
like Al Czervik in Caddyshack. You're kind of going like this, right? Oh my arm! I don't know. I can't play. You got to, and then you find Danny Noonan to come in to fill in the back nine for you. Yeah.
How soon do you think this will be? I guess signed, sealed, and delivered outside of TFC.
You got a window, so you got a couple of weeks to get it all squared away. And right now, TFC's got to figure out what they want to do. And are you just blowing up this season? Are you blowing up these deals? Because when we were looking at we were looking at the deals and who's left and how much longer you have on these deals. And I always remind folks that when you have someone on a long-term deal, it is so you can control the asset. It is not necessarily something where you're signing somebody to, like Mihailo Mudryk, you're signing him to an 8-year deal. You're not going to have him for 8 years, but you can control the asset for 8 years. And since it was a deal that was grandfathered in, you can budget out the transfer fee over that 8-year period. But you look at the contracts that are right now with TFC. End of this season, you've got to make decisions on Vasquez, Sapong, Ranjit Singh Gutierrez, Faria, Mabika, Lucas McNaughton, Antonolu, Curich, Mbonge, Batis, Gavron, Coelho, Perlman, Stefanovic, and Simmermancic. That's this year. That's your 23s right now. End of this calendar year, you got to make decisions on those dudes. In 24, you're looking at Dio, Sean Johnson, Matt Hedges, Shane O'Neill, Akinola, Cervania, Peruzza, Kobe Franklin, Kerr, Cozy Thompson. That's your 24s. Your 25s are Larea, Rosted, Roll Petretta, Osorio, and then Insigne and Bernadeschi are your 26s. But once again, just be reminded, just because that's the length of the deal doesn't mean you're going to get to the end of the deal. It means you can dictate terms to the end of the deal about doing something. You got a month in the secondary transfer window. I'm looking at those two dudes that are 26s and saying, you want to go home? Go for it. What can we do? What can we do to make this happen? And what can we do to where the investment that we have made in these two assets gets taken over?
Yeah, if I'm TFC, I'm expediting that process. I'm calling up a Saudi Arabian team, and I this is like a return type of thing. So they bought the product, and it clearly didn't work out for them, and I think they want their money back. So the 15 million that I guess they paid them for at least one of the years or up to now, the Saudi Arabian team, they're not strapped up for cash. So if you could get 20 million for Insigne, consider that okay. It was a trial and error. We got it. We're returning the product, and we're getting some money
Yeah,
back.
we tried. The pieces didn't fit together. There are some screws that are missing, and we'd like to return this now, and we'd like to express this back to Amazon as quickly as possible, please. Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
we'll pay for the shipping. Don't worry about that.
Yes,
We'll get his plane ticket.
yeah, we'll go to Whole Foods and make sure that this gets back to Amazon the way that it was supposed to. Yes, absolutely.
And I think based on Insigne, if the reports about this, like I know Bob Bradley said gossip, but let's think it's not gossip. Let's say, and if I'm TFC, like how many stops are you putting on this plane ride? Like, are you gonna make sure that he's stopping in like 50 cities before he gets to Saudi Arabia?
Right now, I'm to the point where it's like, you know, Whatever happens, happens. If dude's gonna sit there and it meets the marker and it helps us out, then make it happen. Make it happen like now. Bang, go. No, it's like rear view mirror. Make it happen. All done. Out the door.
Would it be a bad look if TFC, like, let's say they get rid of both DPs or even one of
Already,
them,
it's already a bad look, Giancarlo. I mean, come on.
and on top of that, like, bring in another high price DP or two and show, okay, this is our new marketing tactic because they can pay for like MLSC. They paid guys on the leaves
Oh yeah.
for like 5 years, millions of dollars just to stay home.
Yeah.
So I'm sure, like, would that be a bad look though if they right away get two different DPs and say, "Here's what we're building on for this year, and hopefully this one works out this time."
Well, I mean, yeah, but once again, you got to make the finances work. You've got to make sure that it's cap compliant, and then you've got to make sure that obviously that the DP stuff is there. Unless you're Miami and you're wanting to bring in Messi, Busquets, Jordi Alba, Iniesta, and Hazard. So we'll see. Apparently, yeah, Jordi Alba is apparently a TAM deal, allegedly, possibly, probably. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, TAM
But
deal.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, right.
There's gonna be some restaurants where he's supposedly on payroll.
I
I
thought
would see
I
in the
was
future.
gonna say I thought that might be more Eden Hazard or just restaurants that he's attending as opposed to having those kinds of deals. But keep an eye on Inter Miami. Keep an eye on Inter Miami. That's all I'm gonna say. Check your tier one sources and make sure that that you follow along in this process as it goes. Inter Miami's going to be another discussion. Toronto's got a month to figure out. Okay, do we do anything this year? Do we pack it all in and prepare for next year? And make sure that the young Reds get some run. How do we play this? Because, like I said, we mentioned all those 23s that you've got to decide whether or not they're going to be a part of things with the first team, the second team, or with you at all. And right now, you're in a world of hurt for a bunch of different reasons. You got a lot of your vets that are injured. You've got folks on international duty, and you have this collision of ideas that literally is just like bang. It is like matter and antimatter, and you get the massive explosion like we had in science class. That's what right now. That's what you're staring at with Toronto FC. And breaking news, according to Fabrizio Romano, Christian Pulisic to AC Milan. Here we go. So it is now apparently officially official that Christian Pulisic is with AC Milan. So there you go.
And
Pepe signs
Pulisic,
a 5-year deal. Pulisic goes over. So, yeah, it's going to be a busy month. So just be ready for it every single Friday when you and I talk.
you think Pulisic's gonna thrive now in a defensive league, or
It is a defensive. I like how you say it's a defensive league. It's a very physical league, and you are going up. You're sending Christian Pulisic, who has been dinged up more than the average bear. You're sending him into a league that is very physical, where the officiating kind of is just kind of like, oh, did that happen? Okay, cool. There you go. Let's do that. You know, instead of do this, let's do that, or just nothing at all. It's like nothing. No, you're going to see more of that. You're going to see more of that than you will see of this. And I think Christian Pulisic and AC Milan, I don't see this. I don't see this really working out. You might get a new player bump, but I don't think that it's going to work in the full with Christian Pulisic and AC Milan. So I feel like we should run a breaking news sounder or something. See, we got to get the producer to have a breaking news sounder or something like that in these shows to work on that. What else is on your mind with MLS?
Luis Suarez again? His name's come up with Inter Miami, but
Where? So he's
I
like
just don't
sixth.
know where this is gonna. Yeah, I don't know how this is gonna go
Well,
through.
There's your breaking
Oh,
news.
well. Thought I clicked something.
No, but there was a clause in his contract when Luis Suarez said that he was retiring or leaving or whatever he's doing. His parent club said at the time that they are putting an anti-Inter Miami clause into the separation notice. So I don't know if Luis Suarez, even if he wanted to go to Inter Miami, I don't know if he could, because if he said he's retiring and his club said, I think it was Gremio. They said, all right, so we're going to put this clause in, an anti-Inter Miami clause into that deal. I don't see that happening. So no, focus on those first 5 that we talked about. The first 2 apparently, allegedly, probably, possibly in the door, and then Alba, Iniesta, and Eden Hazard. It's not quite monopoly money, but I'd love to know how these NIL deals are going to work.
Yeah, like Iniesta, like, do you think he's going to be capable of doing much?
Who? Which who are you referring to? Which him? Which he? Which he are you referring to, sir?
This is going to be tough.
I was going to say, which he are you talking about being able to do much? Which one? Which who?
The current version.
All of the who? Are you talking about all the who's in Whoville, brother? As to what's going on? No, all the who's in Whoville. It might be interesting to see. But the first thing what they've got to do more than anything else is they got to get folks to help out on defense. Defense. I don't know how many of you remember that, as that is actually a part of the game of soccer. Defense. You've got to get, because I mean seriously, if you've got Busquets and Messi in the midfield, are they going to be going? Are they going to be going the full length? And no, they're not. And when part of your back line has Krivtsov and DeAndre Yedlin, yeah, that's some folks that you might need to find help helping out in the back. Look, I'm gonna phrase it this way. I think that if you are an individual with the juice boxes, and what we always say here, and what we always say on SDH is, with the juice boxes, only make sure that when you are wagering juice boxes, it's the juice boxes that you can handle. It's the juice boxes that you don't like. It's the ones that have the expiration date. It's the flavor that you hate. Make sure those are the only juice boxes that you will purvey in situations like this. Keep an eye on the totals. The over-unders for Inter Messi CF matches. Inter Miami, keep an eye on the totals, because you're going to get a lot of games that you're going to get a lot of goals scored. And so I would say that if you are someone that believes in departing with the juice boxes, watch the totals. Don't go after teams. Go after totals. Keep an eye on that for the rest of this season. When this happens, when you get into Leagues Cup and all that kind of stuff, and the home stretch for the season, look at totals. Don't look at teams.
Yeah, because if you look at, I guess they're going to get their money's worth, all the goals that are going to be scored both ways.
Kidding, brother.
So that should be a fun night going to see that.
You ain't kidding, brother. That's how. I mean, you're going to have to get your money's worth with that stuff because of the ticket prices going on right now. I mean, you look on the secondary market, and
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is, and nicely done there. Nicely done there, Charles. It is crazy. You try to get in the door for those kinds of things. Ticket prices are in fact very, very crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, it is. Trust me, you're absolutely right. And honestly, if given the choice of paying the mortgage on the house or getting in to go see Lionel Messi, I know that some folks are picking the latter. That's where things are right now. And it will be for the next 2.5 years.
Final topic here I'll get on here is
this
shoes of a champion, and
best
tickets of a champion.
Best, by the way, 27 years ago today, and one of the most important anniversaries in sports entertainment. 27 years ago today. Do you know what happened?
That would have been 1996, July.
Mm-hmm.
Hulk Hogan.
NWO, what's wrong with you? Come on. I'm going to throw leg on him. That's to me. I was going to end it up with the soccer show, New World Order. Come on. Giancarlo, man. By the way, John, here's a trivia question since you're starting on this, right? Do you know Hogan wasn't the original choice? Do you know who was the original choice?
Sting.
See, he knows. Giancarlo.
I knew that too. I
and
saw
do
the
you know who was the
documentary.
third choice? Do you know who was the third choice?
Wow, who would be probably DDP at that point?
Yeah, allegedly.
No. No, come on. Come on.
All right, Giancarlo, you're the wrestling.
Ric Flair.
No. No, but somebody close to him.
Oh wow, it'd probably be what, Double A?
Yes. They were going to give him one last run as they knew New World Order was new and all this, but they wanted to give it. Imagine if it changed to Sting instead of Hogan, and Sting is beloved. He's the biggest face and came off the ceiling and everything like that. Crow Sting. Imagine that. Hogan versus Sting, or Sting turning heel, and could have changed the course of history.
Yeah.
And hold on, John. Giancarlo, how old are you?
28.
28. So he would have been 2 years old. Come on, John.
1 year.
1 years old. Come on. 1 year old. Yeah. That's right. And since you're mentioning that, John, okay, Money in the Bank happened on Saturday. Are you upset that L.A. Knight? Let me talk to you. Are you upset that he did not come with the Money in the Bank?
Well, I am going by what Paul said in the post match, in the post event press conference. Good things happen to those who wait. All right, let's see what happens. I get giving it to Damian, because what that does is it sows discord in Judgment Day, and we saw that with Finn breaking up the idea of trying to use the suitcase already, so the briefcase already. So we'll see what happens, but I really hope, and I really hope that we get to see Sean do something very, very special very, very soon, and not get stuck in gadget matches, because he is over right now, and he continues to wear. In my book, he continues to wear the shoes of a champion. He always does.
Well, where are you from, John? Are you from the States?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. There's where it is. SummerSlam. Look for him to capture the U.S. title.
Yeah.
Also, they're going to announce tonight, it looks like, that Logan Paul is going to have a match at SummerSlam. Giancarlo, do you know who against?
Probably Ricochet.
Yeah.
Yes, it's Ricochet.
Yeah.
That's gonna gonna pair it up. And look at this guy. He's an author. He could talk soccer. He could talk CFL. He could talk NFL. He could talk wrestling. Look at those books. I'll just switch me and put you there, John. All right. Yeah. So I didn't want to be close to Giancarlo. He hasn't had a haircut. Yeah. But John and Giancarlo, I'm gonna ask you this week. UFC went into the Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame. You don't care?
Nope, don't care.
John, come on. You're a Hall of Famer. Nope. I thought you were going to pass the Duke to Jose Aldo. Come on.
Nope.
All right. So I'm going to skip that. Okay, Giancarlo, anything else you want to add in soccer? And here it is. John Nelson has to be on. He's riveted. He wants to know, when is Phil Kessel going to sign?
When's Phil Kessel?
He was taking pictures. He had pictures surfacing online of with a McDonald's bag. So he was busy on the 4th of July. So the Leafs are doing some cat maneuvering, it looks like. But Phil Kessel, I think, is going to sign that 1-year deal once he gets the McDonald's out of his system.
No. All right, Giancarlo, go ahead and tell everybody how they could get a hold of you.
Tremendous.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at John_411, Instagram Giancarlo_Alino. I'm not on Threads, and I don't plan on it at the moment. Social media.
Next week you come on and say it. So
look. Follow my articles. You can read them on firedupnetwork.ca, so sportskita.com. Actually, shout out there to Jens Pulver last night. Spoke to him a few months ago. Great guy. He really wanted to get that honor. He finally got it, so good for him going to the UFC Hall of Fame.
And Giancarlo, I mentioned to John yesterday, but in next couple weeks we're gonna do the Women's World Cup. You're gonna wake up at 4 a.m. to write something for Fired Up Network, and then at 8 o'clock for Sportskeeda. Correct?
Oof.
Yeah. All right. See, great timing, John. All right, John Freeman Nelson, go ahead.
Easiest way to get in touch with me is right now on the Twitters at OSG Nelson. You can also catch up, Randy, see right there. But I'm also on Threads at Cute Sports Guy. So Cute Sports Guy on Threads, at OSG Nelson on the Twitters. OSG Sports app available iOS and Android. Same for Soccer Down Here. And right there is book number 6, Noble Strong Lessons in Destiny. We're already planning out 7 and 8. We already know what we're doing, but 6 was a labor of love with small town football and a family that meant a lot to a lot of folks. So book 6 is right there. Yeah.
Book of a champion.
It is the book of a champion.
And by the way,
it is. They did win a state championship. So Giancarlo is correct. It is book of a champion, right there.
And that
Giancarlo,
jacket right there, book of a champion.
Did you purchase the book, Giancarlo?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
He purchases. All right. So, and by the way, Giancarlo, Fired Up Net is on Threads also.
There you go.
All right. 2 out of the 3 of us are on Threads, so I expect you next week to be on Threads. All right. Stay tuned for more great programming on the Fired Up Network. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great week.